Hello everybody and welcome to the Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator. Today is hailed an update where you can actually have mod units installed via Steam and via the application. However, I was not able to get this to work on the first attempt. I do realise that it does put the new units and the mod units into certain categories. Those categories did not contain the units even after a restart of the application and a restart of Steam, and in fact a reboot to the PC. But not to worry, there are two new units however. One is called Super Bebes and a female martial art hand-to-hand combat unit, and also then zombie cops, which are cops who are zombies armed with AK-47 attack rifles. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration and to have a look at the units and their capabilities, I'll be pitting 250 Super Bebes against 10,000 zombie cops. That seems about right to me because I think the Super Bebes are really going to kick some. So we're onto the World of Imperium map, and we're going to go up in the top left-hand corner where there's a nice open space surrounded by rocks and hills and a few trees. And let's get into it. So this is going to be the Super Bebes versus 10,000 zombie cops. So here we have it. Our Super Babe army of 250 is standing ready to engage those cops, and off they go. The cops have opened up now with their AK-47s, and the Super Babes are engaging them with hand-to-hand combat. There's cops flying absolutely everywhere. Good graphics on the zombie cops, has to be said. Bit of bone showing. Not exactly sure about the AK-47 and the relevance of that with the police force. Perhaps a hand-to-hand unit with truncheons or nightsticks may have been better. May have been better. Even though they were flagged to attack, the cops are standing still, so there may be something wrong here with the logic. I'll have to check. Super Babes, however, are moving in. They are engaging pretty well. They're moving forward. They're engaging the zombie cops. As you can see, they're waving it. The cops don't really stand a chance, to be honest. Though even though they are being knocked up in the air and quite some distance, they are getting back up, at least some of them, to try and fight again. So then the Super Babes are going to have to look at their flank and protect that. Or there's going to be quite a lot of mop-up to be done of the zombie stragglers. Look at that, bodies flying everywhere. So don't forget, that's only 250 Super Babes now engaging 10,000 zombie cops armed with those AK-47 rifles. Since this update, however, I've got to say the frame rate seems to have dropped. The GTX 1070 gaming that I've got fitted inside my gaming rig, my i7, with 32GB of RAM and all of that, I wouldn't say it's struggling, it's not struggling, but you can tell the frame rate has dropped quite considerably. And some of the other videos and other games that I've played with perhaps a larger horde, I don't think the frame rate has dropped that much. There is an awful lot going on, however, on the screen. There is the background to consider. All the rendering of the rocks, the trees, the blades of grass, and the fact that there's just over 10,000 items, moving items, on the screen. So all in all, pretty cool. All the settings on this Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator are set to Ultra though, so perhaps I should go back and revisit that and perhaps tone some of it down a little bit to try and improve the frame rate. All in all though, quite a good visual spectacle, I have to say. So Super Babes are now engaging and mopping up some of the stragglers that have been kicked up in the air and away from the main horde. But you can see they're breaking in an arc sort of shape into the main zombie defense and are indeed cleaning up. And we'll have to see, in fact, if there is a hand-to-hand version of that zombie cop available to manipulate within the unit customization. So they've now retreated into the shade of that mountainside. But the main bulk of the zombie force is still in daylight. As you can see there are a few stragglers that will need to be kicked by the Super Babes. So perhaps an end of sight on my behalf. I've got some of the units on the mountain side. That might be a bit difficult for the Super Babes to get up and have a go at. But we will have to see. Of course, this battle takes place starting at 6 AM in the morning. So as time is progressing, you can see the light on the battlefield changing. Yes, lots of kicking going on. Bullets not seeming to harm the Super Babes, although I do believe some have fallen in battle. So they're not as strong as the Chuck Norris character, or Chunk Norris character. Yeah, the problem we're getting, some of them are being kicked and kicked up in the air, up against the hillside, so they're spawning on the hillside out of harm's way. This is then giving them the ability to shoot down on the attacking force and causing more damage, whereas I think perhaps they would have fallen a little bit quicker. So as I mentioned, quite surprised that the mods didn't actually work and come into play in the game. A little bit disappointed on that, to see what's going on and check the forums on Steam. They all have been selected. I've subscribed to the forum on Steam. It's been restarted and I've looked in the categories. Some of them obviously going to be in the animal category. The terror lizard, the cat, they're all in the animal section, and they weren't there. So whether they've been properly released or not, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Probably when the US wake up in about 2 or 3 hours time. So again, looks like the main force has been defeated, or at least cut back considerably. Very interesting graphic there, the Super Babes. Got a Punisher symbol on the top right hand shoulder. They've also got an eye patch, hair in a ponytail, but wearing that black leather catsuit. Zombie cops dressed in typical cop attire, with the peaked cap, lapelled shirt, bones showing, blood, and that AK-47 attack rifle. Well, no, I think this is a pretty good game and pretty good fun. So when new units are released, and hopefully the mod community will start to breathe additional life into the game as it's released, because once you go through some of the more mainstream battles like the Laser Knights, which, let's face it, they're Jedi, against, I don't know, 30,000 chickens, and you've got that out your system, there's not an awful lot to do other than start recreating some of the epic battles that you can see in films. I suppose Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings will feature heavily in the mod community when the mods start to work and are released properly on Steam. I can imagine Game of Thrones Dragons also playing a huge part of this game, along with, you know, copies of White Walkers and the like, and the ability of, you know, the user community to create those epic battles on a huge scale. We can only hope for that, though, and let's hope it does come about. So the Super Babes are now mopping up. A couple of graphics left high up in the air. That's a shame. This is only the 1.1 release, and I think for a 1.1 release it is pretty good. Some zombie cops there atop a small incline. The main force seems to be, as I predicted, up on the hillside, most of which are going to be out of reach. So Super Babes have mopped up the ones that they can on the grassy area of this map, and now start to engage the ones that are on the mountainside. Again, still bodies flying everywhere. So as we're coming up now on the 10-minute mark of this video, the Super Babes have decimated the 10,000 strong zombie army. Yes, there's a few hundred left on the hillside, but I don't see as that's going to make that much of a difference. I really don't. There's lots of super babes wombling about aimlessly at the bottom. I will have to check this to see if those zombies are in fact able to move and attack, or they just stay there as a ranged unit. They were definitely set to attack, I believe. That's something worthwhile checking out anyway. I'm not going to pass judgment or diss the game for something that I'm not particularly sure on. I think if they were attacking, it would be moving quicker. And as you can see, there's a little bit of tearing going on, a little bit of focusing problems. But nothing that's going to derive from the fun. And this game, it's what this game's all about, in my opinion. In my honest opinion. It's going to be fun. So you can see now, there is a few zombie cops remaining. 173 and 164 super babes remaining. So minimal losses there, as we started out with a 250. The cops bearing the brunt of their force. So the frames per second down to 12. Shocking. And it's a pretty good card I've got as well. 8GB of RAM on that. So I think I will try a similar battle on the test map, the test bed map, where there's no additional graphics to take away from the performance of the actual game characters on screen. So I've been attempting to sort of jimmy things along here now with sort of taking control of some of the characters and moving them down. But I think, to be honest, I'm going to have to start using the God power, but not the nuke God power, because that's going to be a waste, isn't it? You want to give them a chance. So I think we'll go to the wind and use the wind power and blow them back into the main part of the battle. Yes, things have slowed right down now, but the frame rate is starting to increase, though fluctuating between 12 and 20. So here's the wind power, blowing some of those back into the battle. And the super babes are rushing now to engage them. In fact, I think it probably would have been quicker just to use the nuke. It wouldn't have changed the outcome. The super babes are still going to win this. Quite a nice and subtle God ability, this, the wind power. So 5 zombie cops remaining, 4 zombie cops remaining. And now down to 3. Now where are they? Let's look for where those super babes are starting to cluster. Down to 2. We knocked him off the wall with the wind power, and there they are. Where they're all clustering there, that's where they've got to be. That's where they've got to be. So let's move up now. Let's give them a little nudge. Blow some super babes up there. And super babes are victorious, as we predicted. Hey, well, thanks very much for watching, and check back for more videos in the series where we pit more ridiculous units against other ridiculous units. I've been Ricardo. This has been the Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator. Please like and subscribe if you've had fun and enjoyed it.